Welcome to This Explainer. Today we're unpacking the million-dollar barber opportunity, solving the discovery problem. We're looking at a fascinating paradox within the booming personal grooming industry. Why talented individual barbers are struggling to keep their chairs full when consumer demand is literally higher than ever. It's a massive disconnect, and figuring it out is a million-dollar opportunity. Let's get right into it. So, here is the big question. Why do incredibly talented barbers with amazing skills still fail? You see it all the time, right? You see professionals who can execute a flawless skin fade, who master complex shear work, and offer just an incredible in-chair experience. Yet, they are barely scraping by. The crucial point we need to establish right away is that they do not have a skill problem. Their technique is top-notch. So what is actually going wrong behind the scenes? Okay, let's dive into this. 50%. The data here paints a very stark, very sobering picture. According to the Small Business Administration, half of new personal care businesses close within just 5 years. Half of them fail. And as we just established, it's not because 50% of them suddenly woke up and forgot how to cut hair. Most of these failures are entirely operational. They are business failures, not barbering failures. And this brings us to the fundamental disconnect, the skill problem versus the discovery problem. See, barbers often think they have a skill problem. They think, if I just perfect this specific taper, or buy these super expensive new clippers, or take just one more masterclass, then I'll get more clients. But the reality? Actually, scratch that. It's not about the cut at all. They are suffering from the discovery problem. It absolutely does not matter if you are the best barber in your city if you're digitally invisible. People are actively looking for you, but your storefront is essentially hidden in a dark alley of the internet. And this brilliantly illustrates our core point for today. Search is the new foot traffic. Visibility is the new storefront. If you take away anything from this entire explainer, let it be that. The days of relying on a spinning barber pole and a glowing neon sign in the window to fill your chairs, those days are completely over. Being found in search engines and local discovery platforms is literally a million-dollar opportunity. Let's look at the old way. For decades, the model was super simple. You build a beautiful shop, keep the floor swept, put out some magazines, and just wait for people to walk through the door. But in a digital-first reality, relying solely on physical foot traffic and paper sign-in sheets is a complete recipe for disaster. The modern customer simply doesn't want to sit in a crowded waiting room, guessing when it's their turn, flipping through a 5-year-old magazine. In fact, research shows that without a digital queue, customers actually overestimate their wait time by up to 36%. They feel that friction, they get annoyed, and they leave. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the sheer scale of the problem. $184,500. That is the conservative estimate of the potential annual revenue leak for a typical, busy 3-chair barbershop. That is real money walking right out the front door simply because of a lack of modern operational systems. Let's unpack exactly where that money is bleeding out. According to Q data, you've got unmeasured walkouts, people who walk in, see a massive physical line, and just bounce. That costs up to $47,000 a year, and you don't even know their names. Then, no-show appointments eat up another $34,000, and the big one? Idle chairs during peak hours. Just 4 to 7 minutes of unmanaged dead time between cuts can cost up to $81,000 a year in lost capacity. Remember, this isn't a slow day. It's a massive operational failure on a busy day. So, how do we fix this? Well, we have to understand and adapt to the multi-platform search reality. When someone wants a haircut today, they pick up their phone and search "barber near me." But they aren't just looking at Google anymore. They're searching Apple Maps. They're scrolling local tags on TikTok and Instagram. And increasingly, this is wild, they are asking AI assistants like ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, and Perplexity for recommendations based on online authority. If you aren't structured to be visible across all these platforms, you simply do not exist to the modern consumer. And the data completely backs up this behavioral shift. 85%. That is the massive percentage of barber clients who now prefer to book their appointments online. They want speed, they want transparency, and they want flexibility. If you force them to call the shop or write their name on a physical clipboard, you are introducing friction. And when there's friction, that 85% will just pull out their phone and find another barber who offers a seamless digital experience. This brings us to the ultimate solution. Barbers don't just need another calendar app. They need a discovery platform. So, what exactly does that mean? It's an ecosystem that actively places professionals where demand lives, rather than just providing a passive booking calendar. It solves the discovery problem for you. The source material points to a platform called Nearest Cuts as the definitive example of this model. It acts less like a software tool and much more like modern infrastructure for the whole industry. Let's move to this comparison and see how this builds: traditional apps versus Nearest Cuts. The differences are stark. Traditional apps give you a calendar, they charge you a monthly fee, but you still have to fight to find the clients all by yourself. You're trapped waiting for walk-ins in a single location. But a platform like Nearest Cuts operates totally differently. Instead of you waiting for clients, they actively place you where the demand is, opening up multiple revenue channels on a commission-only model. Meaning, the platform only wins when the barber wins. The crucial mechanism here is how they actually achieve this placement. It's a really smart three-step process. First, Nearest Cuts signs a partnership contract directly with a high-traffic facility. Second, they install a self-service booking kiosk right there in the building. And third, they place a vetted, licensed barber on site. The paradigm shift here is absolutely huge. Instead of hoping the client eventually finds your chair through a search engine, the platform brings the chair directly to the client. And where exactly are these chairs going? Right into captive audience locations. We're talking luxury apartments, senior living communities, corporate campuses, and student housing. These are high-density environments filled with people who want a premium grooming experience without the commute. For the facility, it's a fantastic resident amenity, but for the barber, it creates instant passive revenue streams. They are physically placed inside an absolute goldmine of pre-existing demands. Now, you might be wondering, okay, but what about running the business side of all this? That sounds like a lot of work. Well, the source material highlights the use of specialized AI. In this case, an AI manager named Noah. Nearest Cuts includes Noah to act as a 24/7 employee. It handles the automated scheduling, the SMS reminders, the marketing follow-ups, the whole shebang. Crucially, Noah ensures the barber is discoverable across that complex digital landscape we talked about earlier. By automating operations, the barber can finally stop fighting administrative chaos and just focus entirely on their craft. Let's ground this massive opportunity in reality for a second. $52.3 billion. That is the projected global market cap for the barbershop industry by the year 2030. The industry is absolutely thriving, and there's plenty of revenue to be captured. But listen, the barbers who will capture this wealth aren't necessarily the ones with the sharpest shears. They're the ones who recognize and solve their digital discovery problem. Which leaves us with this final, provocative thought to consider today. Are you going to keep waiting for foot traffic, or are you ready to be found everywhere? The tools to become universally visible, completely eliminate wait times, and operate with elite AI efficiency, they exist right now. The choice is yours. Stay hidden behind a traditional storefront, or solve the discovery problem and claim your piece of this million-dollar opportunity. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. I'll see you in the next one.